Cubs are hoping to make another big splash. Yeah, I know they have some money that they can spend now that they sold Cody Bellinger to the Yankees. So we're keeping an eye on that. But how about Roki Sasaki? This is the hard-throwing phenom from Japan that is right now an international free agent. Not a full free agent, but an international free agent, and is up for grabs at a very good price. We're going to talk about why today is significant for the Cubs and Sasaki, what that situation looks like right here on the Cubs baseball channel. So make sure that you guys like and subscribe and give us a thumbs up. And thanks for hanging out. And let's get this party started. Go Cubs. Peace, everybody. Mick Gillespie. Happy holidays to you. Got that right there. Christmas shirt on as we talk about Cubs baseball. Happy Hanukkah to some of you guys as well. But thank you all, and hopefully you're having a great holiday season for being here on the channel. All right. This is one of those deals where I don't know if the Cubs are going to be able to pull this one off, right? But they met with Roki Sasaki in L.A. So did the Mets and a lot of other teams as well. I mean, he's going through the process right now. I think the Cubs have a good chance at pulling this off, but I don't think they're the favorites in this Sasaki sweepstakes. And what makes this really interesting is that Sasaki, who is from Japan and was one of the really the best young arms in their baseball league, decided to come to the U.S. now and play in Major League Baseball. And honestly, to me, I'm not sure why he would do it now, because if he waited a little while and got older, then and there's probably a reason that I don't know, but if he waited a little while and was older, he wouldn't have to go through all the international rules, which basically make him more of a draft pick than a free agent, right? So he's not eligible to hit full free agency. So he's only going to be able to get a team's maximum amount in the international signing bonus pool money, right? Which is $7.5 million. That's the maximum amount of money he could get. Now, if this guy was older and came over, he might be able to get a contract like Yamamoto got last year with the Dodgers, where he got $325 million. So he's capped off because of his age, but he's very interested in coming over and playing in Major League Baseball. The cool thing for him is that obviously he gets to go through the process and decide which team he wants to play for. Now, he becomes eligible to sign on January 15th, and the Cubs, according to our friend Patrick Mooney with The Athletic, are clearly in this race. Now, they're not the favorites to get him, but they're squarely in the mix. The teams to watch out for are the Padres and the Dodgers. And to me, the Dodgers are going to be the one that, he's got to decide if he wants to go play with Yamamoto and Ohtani. And if I came from Japan and I was a young guy, who knows? Maybe that's why he's coming over right now, because he wants to play with those guys. Or he could play with Suzuki and Imanaga with the Cubs, right? No matter what, the Cubs are playing in Japan to start the season, and that's going to be a big deal. And so, maybe that would be a draw. I'm sure he's not going to want to sign too long of a contract, because when he hits that age where he's able to go out in free agency, and if he succeeds, he's going to be a guy who is highly sought after in Japan. A 2.02 ERA, a ton of strikeouts, 10-5 record a year ago. But he struck out 524 batters in 414 innings. And that translates, that really does translate. So for the Cubs, you slide him in the rotation and all of a sudden the rotation looks really good, right? I was kind of looking at what the Cubs starting rotation is earlier today, is kind of getting an idea of where they are, because I feel like that the Cubs are eyeing another move. I just got this feeling that before this is all said and done, that they're going to make another move here soon to try to basically build on this rotation from where it is right now. Now, kind of handicapping it, I'm guessing that if today was, opening day and everybody was healthy, Shota Imanaga would be your number one. Justin Steele would be your number two, although you could flop those two. Jameson Tyone would be your three. Javier Assad would be your fourth. And then Matthew Boyd, who they got from Cleveland, would be your fifth guy. Jordan Wicks would be there depending on his health. And then Poteet, the guy that they got from the Yankees, can start. He had a cup of coffee in the big leagues last year. So that rotation to me is okay, but I feel like the Cubs could make a move or two before the season starts to try to make that better. And it just really feels like there's a sense of urgency with this front office, with Jed Hoyer realizing that it's do or die time for him and for this Cubs team. And I don't know. I mean, is making the playoffs enough? To keep your job, or do you have to win? Or do you have to not say win a World Series, but make a run? You got to convince the front office that you're moving in the right direction. And it feels like he's kind of been all in on trying to do that. The Tucker trade, obviously there wasn't a lot of value for Bellinger. Stories came out that basically the Yankees wanted the Cubs to pick up $10 million of that money. Cubs wanted to pick up none of it. They split at 5, and then the Yankees send over a 30-year-old, kind of, I don't even know, like a 4A pitcher, and Poteet, who has had some success in the big leagues. Don't get me wrong, but not much. I mean, he's haven't pitched that much, right? So that felt like a throw in to me. And then what's the next move going to be? People are kind of looking at the catcher spot now and feeling like the Cubs are in pretty good shape behind the plate. With Carson Kelly and Miguel Amaya. Kelly being a catcher that is defense first, can hit a little bit, but shuts down the run game. And with the bigger bases and limited throws to first, having a catcher who's good defensively and can throw out base runners is becoming a big deal. And then what the Cubs are hoping is that Miguel Amaya continues to hit like he did at the end of last year. I think if Miguel Amaya struggles, then he becomes very expendable. I think this is really a do or die season for Miguel. And I feel like for the Cubs, that catcher's position has just been such a weak point since they let Wilson Contreras sign with the Cardinals. I always felt like the Cubs had really good catching, and then all of a sudden the drop off has been enormous to me. So hopefully Carson Kelly's kind of able to slide in there and take care of that position. So we'll see. If you asked me right now about where Sasaki's going to go, I'd say I think the Cubs can make a good push, but there's probably, if he wants to play with Shota and he wants to play with Seiya, hey, we get him. If he wants to play with Ohtani and Yamamoto, then he goes to the Dodgers. And I just got a feeling that that's kind of would be part of it. And if I was going to Japan and I was playing and there were some Americans on the team, it'd be great just to have, some guys that that you could relate with a little bit as you try to make that cultural adjustment. So we'll see. We'll be keeping an eye on this one. It's a big deal. The Cubs they did such a good job of selling Imanaga on Chicago, but he loved the place. And maybe that love will translate over to Sasaki. If you go to Wrigley Field, you walk through there, you meet Cubs fans. Think about him going to Cubs convention, how popular he would be. And the Cubs are proving that they got a great manager. They go out and get Kyle Tucker. It feels like there's some momentum finally around this organization and some buzz. But, it would be tough not to play with Ohtani and, look at that World Series ring from last year too. So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out on the Cubs baseball channel. We will do it again tomorrow. I'm going to try to give you shows throughout the entire holiday because of you guys. That's my present to you, that when everybody else is shut down, we're going to keep on trucking. Go Cubs.